Okay, we are back, baby. And it's time to talk some VJ Edgecombe. A guy who, I've been monitoring for a number of years. He played at Long Island Lutheran High School. I'm based on Long Island, so I got to see him through high school. We got to see him, in the Nike Hoop Summit setting in practices, scrimmages, games, and see him go through his journey from high school now to the NBA, where he was picked third by the Philadelphia 76ers. So, Albert, when we were talking about the guy that we wanted to talk about for this segment, you were like, oh, we haven't really talked about VJ. So what was kind of the reasoning as to why you kind of wanted to roll with VJ for rookie ROI this week?
I think for me, it's the start to his career that he's had was really intriguing to me because I want to highlight Corey. I think he's playing really good basketball, and he's playing on a team where Philly must be in such a strange place right now because now with Maxey going to the level that he's at, all NBA Maxey, right? Quentin Grimes, who they had some trouble with in terms of settling his contract stuff, whatever, but he's playing out of his mind. They've got Jared McCain coming back. Now they have VJ Edgecombe with how he's playing for them. And he had such a hot start to his career, but even though he's kind of cooled off a little bit, is still very effective to what they're doing, right? And then they've had like random, like Trenton Watford is playing well for them. And they've got like all these different contributions. I'm sure Philly fans must feel so weird about their team right now, but then he's also super excited about how their young guys are playing. I wanted to highlight a couple of things with this Philly team. So like the net rating stuff, right? Like, so they're 10th in the league in defensive rating, 18th in the league. 10th in the league in offensive rating, 18th in the league in defensive, 15th in overall net rating. So kind of middle of the pack team overall, right? But with VJ specifically, this is what I've liked so far. 36% from three on 5.5 attempts. I like that. 1.8 stocks per game, 1.3 steals per game. I like that. He's not a heavy usage guy, which is good. He's playing his role. The thing that's really stuck out to me with him whenever I watch him play for Philly, his off-ball cutting has been phenomenal. Like them catching him backside for these lobs has been really great. The type of chaos that he brings because he's such a dynamic off-ball mover, and the threat of him being a lob threat is really messing with teams, I think. And he really brings that different element. But with the shooting, Corey, it's like I was kind of always unsure about the type of shooter he would be. And it's not because of like anything. It's just like I thought aesthetically, it always kind of looked different from what I view as like a really strong shooter. But some of the numbers I want to read to you that I got off Synergy, he's shooting 39.4% on catch and shoot jumpers, right? Which is important for the role that he's playing.
Great. Yep.
44% on unguarded catch and shoot jumpers. When he's open, and he's finding himself open with the type of scoring gravity these other guys has, he's hitting 44% of them. And I think that's really important. And the fact that he's in this like stable of guards with Grimes and Maxey and McCain and exactly. It's such an interesting position where he gets to continue to grow and to learn and also fail, but also when he wants to turn it on, he can do that. Corey, one of the things that was brought up in the pre-draft stuff with like the finishing around the rim.
Yep.
Believe it or not, the numbers have not changed too much, even in the pros, right?
Right.
But what I want to give him credit for is if you turn on the film, although the percentages and stuff still don't look great, he's had some very tough finishes where he's taking contact, finishing through it. I think it's just a matter of time, whereas he continues to grow into his bodies, he continues to become more comfortable with the speed and the strength of the NBA game. I am a firm believer it's going to get better, even though the numbers right now are still low. And so overall, to answer your question, Corey, I think he's having a very impressive freshman season for this Philly squad that is in a weird place, that even heading into the draft, we heard whispers about them maybe potentially trading the pick, whatever. I think if I was in the Philly front office, I'd be really happy with this choice and the way that he's played for us and the future of the type of player that he can be, whether as a running mate to Maxey or as like a supporting role player, whatever that turns out to be, I don't know, but I'd feel great about the player that we've gotten so far.
Yeah. And there are two other things that I kind of want to highlight that I've noticed. I mean, one, the playmaking, right? I think he's at like 4 assists a game, 2 to 1 assist to turnover, maybe even slightly above that. Yeah. So he's making plays, and I'll be fair. Some of the stat keepers are being a little generous with some of the assists in the modern game. I'll just throw that out. We'll throw it out and that's it. We'll let that, simmer for all of you. But he's making plays. He's not making a ton of mistakes. And if you want to know how you stay on the floor early in your career, you play hard, you make good decisions, and you don't operate as a cone defensively. And he's managed to mostly do that. So you can live with some of, the finishing issues if you could do those things. So he's knocking down his shots, he's cutting off the ball, blah, blah, blah. He's making good plays, he's moving the ball, and he's making strong passes when he does get dribble penetration out to Philly shooters. And like you said, Philly's in a weird place because I think that everybody was in doomsday land with them. Oh my gosh, the Paul George contract, Embiid's health. And like they're sitting at 9-6 right now. And they've had guys who were, Maxey went to an entirely new superstar-esque level. VJ looks awesome. McCain's finally coming back, right? Like, so there's a lot of, and Paul George is back now too. And like, I think he's looked like Paul George. So who knows, right? Philly's in this whole new kind of realm. The other thing with them, with VJ rather, besides the playmaking, which has been really strong early, and I think, because of his gravity as an athlete, he's able to make those kickouts because guys have to rotate. But his handle development, his handle was the other thing that I think people kind of questioned because he isn't like shifty and smooth like Kyrie or Steph. It was a lot of, even the side-to-side stuff was a little straight line, even when he was trying to go side to side. But like, I feel like his handle's gotten tighter. And there's been a little bit of creativity to him. I still don't think he's like a top tier ball handler, but I do think that he's taken a step there. And I think it kind of plays into what we've seen with him in person and just through his journey. And what we've seen in interviews is like, this is a kid who takes his craft seriously, who is a really hard worker. And I think is going to be like humble enough to understand what he needs to work on. And like, I think that's a really important trait to have as a young player. Even if you did go third, like he still has kind of like an underdog mentality to him because he's not a kid who was like super highly touted his entire high school career. He kind of burst onto the scene junior, senior season. He wasn't getting mixtapes as a freshman necessarily. But I think he's confident. And, we saw him take that confidence from the Bahamas and the Olympics into the college season, into his pro career, and he's making strides. So I think his rim finishing is going to get there at some point because he's a hard worker, but he's been a ton of fun. And he really reminds me, like, I don't know, like what's like an active, like puppy, like a golden retriever puppy that just has like a ton of energy and is kind of like fidgety and is just doing everything and is sliding on the hardwood floors, like because they're running too fast. And like, there's some of that, and it results in both good and bad. Like sometimes defensively, he's trying to be so active that like, he can kind of get sloppy feet. But sometimes it's like, that's why he's picking off a pass and pick-sixing it into a dunk or whatever. Like he's been really, really fun to watch. And, this rookie class in general has been so strong that you can make an argument that he definitely should have gone third, or maybe Khan should have gone ahead of him, or, Derek Queen's been balling out. And Albert, I think we might have to talk Derek Queen next week.
Maybe.
I think we might have to keep that for next week. But VJ's been, I think, really impressive. And I think he has adapted to the NBA game a lot quicker than maybe I thought he would.
Yeah. No. Famously, VJ was in a Cooper Flag mixtape where Cooper Flag talked to him and said, "You're not like that." And VJ is emphatically responding with his NBA career saying, "I am actually like that." And he's playing so well for this Philly team. And Corey, I just want to emphasize once again, like this Philly team, they must be so confused with the season, and the fans as well, with how things are going. But what an unbelievable, they must be so glad though that this worked out and how this is going. And so excited for our Philly fans out there.
It's the 2 timeline approach.
Hopefully it meets in the middle and it works out.
Yeah, but he's been great. He's been really fun. this NBA season's been unbelievable, but the young guys are, especially with what we do, are a large part of that. And VJ's lived up to the hype on that end. And he's starting to come back down to earth a little bit with his shooting and his efficiency. But like, again, these rookies are going to ebb and flow within a long 82 game season. And as long as, he keeps playing hard, he's going to continue to get minutes. I don't think we're going to see him bounce up and down in the G League or anything. He's NBA ready right now, and that's really cool to see. So shout out VJ Edgecombe and the two-time line Philadelphia 76ers, who are sitting above 500 right now and out of the play-in as we record this. So shout out to them.
Good for you guys. And also, Corey, Tyrese Maxey is the reason why you and I became friends.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So that makes me very happy with how he's playing.
Yeah, man. I mean, we can riff on Maxey for a second. Like, what are we watching?
Corey, it's literally the ultimate outcome of what we imagined when we talked about him all those years ago. Like, we talked about we both believe he's going to become a shooter, like an actual shooter. He has.
Yes.
We talked about the strength and the power and the elusiveness that he plays with. All of that, he's taken the thing and maxed it out on 2K. All that stuff. He's unbelievable. And the alpha bulldog mentality that he had in college that we liked, he's brought that to the NBA. He is absolutely unafraid. He does everything that he wants on the floor. He's become an absolute alpha. I'm so happy for him, Corey, because when he was in the draft that year, a lot of people had huge question marks about him. They were unsure, even in his pro day. He was with Clutch, right? Or I don't remember who he was, but during his pro day, he wasn't hitting shots, and people were like, "Look at this, the kid can't shoot," blah blah blah. And you and I were just like, "No, we really think he's gonna shoot it, and on top of that, he can do everything else as well." We think he's going to be a terrifying guard prospect. And even for me, Corey, a guy who isn't the biggest fan of smaller guards, whatever, I was just like, this guy rocks, and I cannot wait for this to work out. And I'm not trying to take all the credit. I knew everything. It's literally, every wish we had for him, it feels like he just answered all of them. So that's why it's so incredible.
It's hard to take a leap to where the last 2 seasons he was at 26 point per game scorer. It's hard to take a leap from that.
Yeah.
And I know that there was more opportunity for him because, he kind of had to step in as the guy this year because, Paul George started the year hurt, and, he early in his career, he was playing with Harden, and obviously Embiid has a lot of usage, and, he's in and out of the lineup, but 33 points a game, and he's taken a leap, free throws. He's always been an incredible free throw shooter. His worst year at the free throw line was 2022, where he was 84.5% at the free throw line. He's shooting 88%, but he's getting there 8 times a game this year, which is up. The last 2 years, he was about 5.5 free throw attempts a game. So he's up over 8 this year. So he is in superstar mode, and then 8 assists to 2.8 turnovers. I mean, averaging a block a game, 1.5. He is on another level. My goodness, this kid he plays the game with such a joy. It's really fun to watch him play basketball.
Corey, just really quickly to your point about the assist, his assist percentage is at 33%.
Yeah,
and we're seeing it. He's making plays, but also he's got guys that are knocking them down for him right now.
Yeah, it's a roster built for a guy like him to really succeed in an odd way.
Who would have thought, man? Look at us.
Yeah. A broken clock's right twice a day, folks.
There it is.
All right. Fun time had by all. I wish I can think of another Britney Spears reference to walk us out of this. Toxic? I don't know. Sometimes.
We're excited to talk to you guys next week. Hit me, baby, one more time. I don't know.
Crazy. I don't know. All right, Albert, tell the people where they could find you on the World Wide Web.
Man, you could find me at Alberto Ghim on Twitter, at GTGNBA. Yeah. Isn't he lucky? This he's Hollywood boy. He's a star.
That's a good one. Isn't he lucky? He's a star. Yeah. There we go. We nailed it. We workshopped it. We nailed it. You can find me at Corey Tulaba on socials. You can find the No Ceilings NBA Draft Show everywhere your podcasts are available. YouTube, NoCeilingsNBA.com for written work Monday through Friday and sometimes Saturday. And it's free. You get it delivered straight to your inbox. Make sure that you subscribe, support the crew, and we'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody, for rocking with us. Until then, we are out. Peace.
Peace.